If a shark had feet, could it kill you? The oceans are full of sharks, but these fish have never set foot on dry land. What if a shark grew legs and went for a stroll along the beach one day? Would it attack anything it saw? Or could this new terrestrial predator use its fins to take down even larger prey? The biggest threat to sharks today is humans. We've hunted them for centuries for their skin, meat, and cartilage. But we can also thank human activity for altering the ocean's chemistry and warming its waters, which has caused many species of sharks to disappear. So if sharks were somehow able to fight back, would they be at the top of the food chain? Well, first we have to ask, what would they eat? Humans aren't the only ones who've taken to land. Plenty of critters like turtles, snakes, and crabs spend time both on land and in water. These would be easy meals for our newly terrestrial shark. Of course, there are also land animals that hang out near the water's edge, like raccoons, foxes, and dogs. Sharks are known to attack seals, sea lions, and even whales in the wild. So larger land mammals would likely be no match for an aggressive shark on the prowl. But what about the king of the jungle? If a shark somehow ended up in the African savanna, it might stand a chance against a lion. While a hungry lion would definitely give a shark a run for its money, there's no guarantee that it would come out on top. After all, sharks have been around for over 100 million years and have developed some impressive hunting techniques. They can sense a blood trail from miles away and have incredible vision, allowing them to spot prey silhouetted against the sun or moon. Plus, their teeth are replaceable. So even if a lion managed to land a bite on a shark, it probably wouldn't do much more than make the shark a little less hungry. Sharks typically hunt prey that is far smaller than they are. So while they may not go after adult lions, they could pose a threat to their cubs or other large cats like tigers and leopards. As for whether humans could contain them back in the Stone Age, it's hard to say. It depends on how well sharks adapted to life on land. Do they have claws to help with walking and climbing? Can they use tools? And most importantly, do they still lay eggs, or do they give birth to live young? If sharks gave birth to live young on land, they would be better equipped to survive because their babies would be protected inside their mother's body until they were born. Then all they'd have to do is find water to lay their eggs. Since sharks need to stay moist to survive, it's unlikely that they would venture too far from the ocean. So coastal human settlements would be at the highest risk of shark attacks. If sharks didn't adapt to give birth to live young, they'd still be able to reproduce on land, but their offspring would be very vulnerable to predators. Some animals that exist today, such as amphibians, can live both on land and in water. They typically stay moist by staying close to water or burying themselves in mud or sand. If sharks wanted to make a similar adaptation, they'd have to give up their streamlined bodies in exchange for limbs and maybe even some padding on their bellies to help them slither around. In any case, it's highly unlikely that sharks will ever take over the land, mainly because they'd be competing with animals that have been living on land for millions of years longer than sharks have been swimming in the oceans. With that said, some animals would definitely go extinct if sharks took over. Salamanders and frogs would likely be wiped out since they have no natural defenses against a shark's powerful jaws. Turtles, however, could potentially survive by retreating into their shells, although a persistent shark might be able to flip them over and nom them anyway. As for us humans, we'd probably be fine since we typically live far from where sharks would feel comfortable hunting. But that doesn't mean we'd want to be around when these amphibious nightmares start roaming the land. What do you think? Would a shark with feet be able to rule the land? Let us know in the comments below. And thanks for watching.